thing I will say, I am not a cowboy, so I don't work on a lot of fence. That's why I like Premier One fence. Pick it up, stick it in the ground, tie some corner posts up, and it's tight. I don't like dealing with barbed wire, and I don't like dealing with paneling like this. It's just, there's never really a good way to fasten it down without getting really just overcomplicated with it. So simplify is what I like to do. We're sitting here in our pig pen. I thought more about it. We did our live stream the other day, and something that came up was my thought process on infrastructure. How important infrastructure is. When you're first starting out on a farm, we didn't inherit this farm. We didn't have any real infrastructure. There was a 27 by 86 foot barn that was already on it, and then the house, and then the land, and that's pretty much it. So we're starting from scratch. But one of the things that I kind of subscribe to, I guess, is if I farm for the rest of my life and my kids are gone, how much of an impact, how much of a working farm will it be? We're trying to install systems and infrastructure on our farm that if we decided in a month or in 2 years that hey, pigs is just not for us, we're gonna go do something else, we could literally just take this all down and turn it into something else, use it for something else, sell the materials, give the materials away, or whatever. So we try to do that with all of our infrastructure that we're adding now. And obviously when you're first starting out in homesteading, you're not we're not a century farm. We haven't been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years. So we don't have a lot of the systems that are there. And then most people that do have that are tearing it down and putting up metal buildings and are commercial farmers. That's not what we do. It's funny to see some of the neighbors they'll show up and they'll see some of our structures that we put up, and they'll kind of giggle about it, or the way we garden, try to garden sometimes, they'll kind of giggle about that. We're trying to be different. We're trying to find what works. And so with our systems, I made the comment, I'm not a cowboy. I don't know how to do fencing. I'm not good at that. That's not one of my strengths. I love Premier One fencing. And then in 5 days, you can move it again. And ideally, having a mobile or a flexible infrastructure on your farm is more ideal, especially with people with smaller acreage. We have 20 some odd acres total, but we have to be very flexible in how we utilize that. So one year the pigs may be here, next year we may decide to move the pigs to the complete opposite side of the farm because they're tearing this area up. And so we just, when we go to start a project, and my vision in mind is, can I pick it up and move it, whether that be 20 miles or 20 feet, just for it to make sense. So that's everything we try to do, and we try not to disturb the land. We're trying to, number one, improve our land. Number two, we're trying to build soil. We're trying to do all of the things that I guess you would call that permaculture. Again, I'm not real studied on permaculture, but I really do want to build and improve the land that we're on. I want it to be productive. And productive doesn't necessarily always mean income creating. It can sometimes also mean produce creating. In our sense, we are really trying to figure out how to grow table fare, and obviously we can't grow all of our table fare, but we do like some of the, we want our model to be that we raise as much of our own protein, as much of our own produce as we possibly can here on site to do that. Or if I can lease the 20 acres just up the road here and put, broilers on it or meat birds on it, I want to be able to do that kind of, my systems, I want to be able to load up on a trailer and move over. There's always those things that you got to worry about when you're farming, when you're raising animals or you're growing anything. And water's one of them, and then pasture is another. And so if you can get those two things figured out and your systems are mobile, you can pretty much go anywhere and do what we're trying to do here. So just a thought process, kind of where I'm coming from. I know a lot of people will look at this and say, man, that's pretty rinky-dink, and you're right, it is rinky-dink. It's not anything. I'm not trying to go build a hog house. This is my first go at having pigs, and I don't really want to do anything that permanent. And I don't know if we're going to be a breeding operation, or we're just going to raise some meat hogs for freezer. I don't know how that looks. So that is kind of my thought process on infrastructure. We do the same thing. I talked about it last time we did in the video we did on a Salatin style tractor versus a stress-free chicken tractor. We kind of are moving towards preferring the stress-free chicken tractors, and I think it was the Right Farms asked, have you ever seen the cattle panel chicken tractor? Yes, we have. I have a brother who has one or two of them. He likes them and uses them. It's not something I've ever tried. Where we're at, we have a very likelihood of predators. So any chicken tractor that I put together, we try to armor it as much as possible. And I'm sure you can do that with a cattle panel. I just haven't done a lot of research or don't have a lot of experience with those. So again, I think you figure out what works, what makes sense for you, your budget, and then you go and make it as simple as possible. So if you're looking to get into homesteading, my advice, again, and my limited experience, 2 years into it really, keep it simple and make it mobile, because where you run your chickens one year, you may want to move them the next. We built the winter coop, and we're kind of tied into that winter coop. Where we put it, I'm thinking, man, it would have been better to put it on the other side of the barn. But you live and you learn. You gain that experience. There's a lot of trial and error, and being flexible, being nimble, being ready to move, I think is important when it comes to homesteading. So, and infrastructure, when you're putting up infrastructure. Don't go pour concrete and tie yourself into one spot. This is where they're going to be. Run power, run water, all of that. I think that can be very limiting to you and your systems, especially if you're ever wanting to do anything more than just table fare. Again, income is something that we would love to produce off this farm if we're able to. We're still working through all of that, making it make sense. At some point, we'll increase capacity on things, and we still have a lot of room to grow. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick as we're over here. We're building the minimalist pig setup we can go with, that I feel comfortable going with. And again, I'm always behind the 8 ball with these things. I should have been working on this last month, and now it's June. The pigs are coming anytime, and I'm really not 100% ready, but we're getting there. We're getting closer. So I've had 3 good days of working on it this weekend, and hopefully we'll get there soon. So it's been a beautiful day. We really enjoyed this time. Let me know what you think about infrastructure and what your views are on infrastructure on your places if you're homesteading, or what you agree with, what you don't agree with. I think it's a good topic for discussion, and again, it's definitely something to think about if you're getting ready to get started in homesteading or small farming. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for coming along with us. We're out.
What?
A puddle. A daddy long puddle.
It's not gonna hurt you.
Why? Will it bite you?
No.
I don't think daddy longlegs even can bite humans.
The mouths are too tiny.
Sure. I once heard that.